everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you my full moon art for the March worm supermoon for 2019. This is a series that will have a video each month of the full moons that are named in the month. And also there is a Facebook group you can ask to join over on Facebook. I'll put the link in the description below the video, so you can go over there and ask to join if you would like. Just remember to answer the questions when you are asking to join. So for this month, the full moon happened to fall on the Thursday that I do a live show with Peg Robinson. So we did our full moon artwork live over on Art Joy Sharing live stream show. And I will also put a link at the end of the video if you would like to go watch this live. This is the sped up version. So before we started the video, I did a sketch, and at the very beginning there you saw the sketch that I did. This is inspired by a recent hike that I took. It was a couple days before the full moon, so I could see the 3/4 moon. In addition, I saw lots of wildflowers and, of course, beautiful natural formations. This is at Picacho Peak State Park between Phoenix and Tucson, Arizona. So I wanted to kind of give the idea of that sort of a scene. So when I'd made my sketch, I drew in the peak, I drew in the moon, I had sky, I have flowers, and then in addition I have a vermilion flycatcher, which is the first bird of spring here in Arizona. And I actually saw one of those the day before at the soccer field. So I took a picture of that bird as well. Of course, the whole idea of the name Worm Moon, which when I first heard that, I'm like, ew, ew, what's that about? Thought maybe it had something to do with dragons or something. But when I looked into this name for this moon, it's about the spring coming. The robins are usually in a lot of places the first birds that people see in the spring, and they are getting the earthworms. The earth has warmed up, and the worms are moving, and the snow is going away. The spring flowers are coming out. So that's what the worm moon is about in March. So I wanted to make sure that I had a bird, but I didn't really want to use a robin since that's not what I have where I live, and I have this vermilion flycatcher. Of course, he doesn't really eat worms, although he would. He's an equal opportunity insect eater. If he saw a worm, he would eat it. But more often, he catches flies, grasshoppers, and beetles that are flying in the air, and like actually catches them right out of the air. So that's what kind of bird this is. So I'm using again my Arteza acrylic paper pad. This is a pressed thick paper that has kind of a canvas texture on it, and I drew on it with my graphite pencil. So the graphite's a little bit water soluble and kind of blends in a little bit, although not as much as you would think. And then I am doing the painting portion, the first layer of painting, with India ink. These are made by P.H. Martin's brand. What are they called? I don't know. Anyway, I'll have the links to the two sets in the description box below. I also saw them at Hobby Lobby the other day, so I know they're still available out there in the world. India ink is water soluble until it's dry. So these can behave like a watercolor, but then once they're dry, they're permanent. So they are great for mixed media, because in mixed media you generally are putting layers on top of layers, and so you're always concerned about the water solubility of what you're putting in that first layer. If you use a regular watercolor and then you go and put a bunch of liquid matte medium to try to put some collage over the top, or maybe you're doing some acrylic over the top, or whatever media you're putting over the top to increase the texture and interest and color and composition of your piece, it could disturb that underlayer that's water soluble. So these behave very much like a watercolor. They are intense colors, and I can do some of those same splattering effects, like the kind of splotchy effect up around the moon. Those type of effects can be done just as well in India ink as it is in watercolor. So that's what I decided to paint today with. I'm using my Arteza water tank brushes. These have a little valve where that red button is, and when you push that button, water moistens the tip of the brush, the water stored inside the handle. So, Arteza is not the only brand. I just happen to have two things here that are made by Arteza, the paper pad and the water brushes. So I will be sure to put the links in the description box below so you can find these products if you'd like to duplicate this. In addition, the sketch will be included as a file in the Facebook group, the Full Moon Inspired Artwork Facebook group, which is my group for this project that you can join. This is the third in the series of full moons, and so far this year, all of the moons have been super moons, but this March one is the last one. Super moon just means that it's slightly closer to the Earth, and so it looks bigger, and so it just makes it a little bit more interesting to see it kind of larger. I'm continuing to paint. I've made kind of something in the distance, something kind of halfway, and then the close bird and flowers in the front just to make it more interesting. I've got poppies, I've got those purple flowers, I don't know what they are, and then the orange flowers are a bush that I saw out there. I don't know what it's called. I didn't look up the flowers. I did look up the bird because I was curious. When I saw this bird at the soccer field, I was like, wow, we don't usually see anything that bright and colorful. Most of our birds are brown and tan because they want to blend into the desert and not be so obvious. But this guy, he's red, red, red. So he's obvious. I guess he doesn't have any predators that are concerned about that. So for my second layer over the top of my indie ink, I'm just kind of intensifying and filling in some areas using pan pastels. These are a soft pigment in a pan that it's kind of like chalk, but it's not hard. It's very creamy and smooth. And I'm using the soft tools, which are also made by Pan Pastel, to apply it just by dipping the tool into the pan and then picking up the color and applying it. I already did, seal this with some fixative. You do kind of need to seal your pan pastels unless you're putting it under glass in a frame immediately. You probably wouldn't need to worry about that. But so since this is in a book, I went ahead and sealed this with Spectrafix spray fixative, which is a non-aerosol pump spray, and it's not stinky, so it's non-toxic and archival and all that. So once I finished putting on the pan pastels, I decided to do some detailing with Posca pins. I do this often. I'm using the white, and I do also use the black fine tip Posca pin, not the extra fine, but just the fine tip. And I just felt like the bird needed to stand out from the background more. And I thought the moon would be shining on his feathers and giving kind of a little bit of a halo effect. So I decided to kind of sketchily, very quickly, sort of add some highlight lines around the things that are in the foreground. I have a hard time stopping myself from doing this sort of thing. I like an illustrative look more than a painterly look on my projects. It's just a personal style thing. So I enjoy doing this type of thing. I'm not careful. I'm not doing it slowly and meticulously, making sure I outline every little thing. It's very sketchy and freeform and just kind of crazy. Here's the black one coming in to kind of darken up some of those black areas on the bird. It has a mask like a bandit. So anyway, this is my art for this month for the moon, and I hope you enjoy it. If you'd like to watch the full length video of the live show, that will be in at the end. There'll be a link for that, and also links for the other moon art that's happened so far this year. and of course links to the products, links to the Facebook group. So if you did enjoy it, please remember to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, you can come join that Facebook group. You can share this on Pinterest. You can use my sketch to make your own artwork if you would like. That's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.